Anne Frank is one of few people in history remembered not for her accomplishments but for what she represented. Anne Frank's diary is a voice from a time where people were silenced because of their religion. It is a light into the darkness, a window to the past. Today, she is a reminder that ordinary people can impact the world around them even through simple acts. Anne Frank was born June 12, 1929 in Frankfurt, Germany. She was born to Otto and Edith Frank. Anne had a sister, Margaret. The Frank family was Jewish. In 1933, the Frank family moved to Holland because it was no longer safe for Jews to stay in Germany. In Germany, anti-Semitism had already begun to spread. Otto became director of the Dutch Opekta company, which made products used in jam. Anne attended the Montessori school in Holland. In 1940, the Germans invaded Holland. This put pressure on the Jews living there, but it was not yet dangerous. In 1942, Jews were forced to wear yellow stars. They were also forced to follow anti-Jewish decrees, including that they could not ride bicycles, could not drive cars, were only allowed to do their shopping between 3 and 5. Jews had to be indoors by 8 p.m. and could not even sit in their own gardens after that hour. Jews could not participate in public sports. Jews had to go to Jewish schools. The list went on. Living in Nazi-occupied Holland was suffocating to the Jewish people. In summer of 1942, Jews in Holland began to receive call-ups from Jewish work camps, including Westerbork. Otto Frank did not want this to happen to any of his family, so he began arranging a hiding place. He decided to move his family, along with Herman and Augusta Van Pels and their son Peter, to a collection of secret rooms in his company's building in Amsterdam. On July 6, 1942, Otto moved his family to the secret annex, where they would spend their next 2 years of their life without ever coming out of the building. The hiding place was concealed by a bookcase attached to the door of the entrance. While in hiding, Anne wrote a diary to help ease the boredom and to have a way to express her thoughts. She wrote about everything from events of the outside world to thoughts about her life, to hardships of their life in the secret annex, to her crush on Peter Van Pels. On the morning of August 4, 1944, the secret annex was searched by the secret police. The 8 members of the secret annex were arrested. 2 of the people who had helped the families were also arrested. They were all taken to German headquarters where they were locked up. 2 helpers who had not been arrested immediately went to the secret annex to reclaim any of the family's possessions. There, they found Anne's diary. On August 8, 1944, the 8 members of the secret annex were taken to Westerbork. Soon, Anne and her family were cramped into trains and shipped out of Holland to Auschwitz. 70 people were squished into one wagon. No one could sit down. When they arrived in Auschwitz, Otto Frank was separated from his family. He would never see them again. Peter's father died in the gas chambers at Auschwitz. In December, Fritz Pfeffer died of illness in another concentration camp. Anne and Margaret were transferred to a camp called Bergen-Belsen. died in January of 1945 of exhaustion. On January 27, 1945, the Russians liberated the prisoners of Auschwitz and Otto Frank was released. Later in 1945, Augusta Van Pels died in Buchenwald. Anne and Margaret died in Bergen-Belsen in March 1945, only weeks before Bergen-Belsen's liberation. Peter Van Pels was moved to a concentration camp in Austria, where he died of exhaustion in May 1945. After the war, Otto Frank, the only surviving member of the Secret Annex, read Anne's diary and later published it in Dutch in 1947. Today, it has been translated into more than 60 languages and 25 million copies have been sold. The diary has been transformed into many plays and films. The building where Anne Frank hid is now known as the Anne Frank House. Visitors can visit the Secret Annex and experience how Anne might have felt. Today, the words of one ordinary girl are universally read and spoken. She lives on, a heroine, an inspiration for world peace and human rights. Although she was just a regular teenager, Anne spoke up when she was told to be silent and let readers understand what life as a Jewish teenager in hiding was like. Her words are a reminder of what we must never let happen again.